Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through town. A man there named Zacchaeus, a ruler among tax collectors, was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but being a short man, he couldn't because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed up a sycamore tree so that he could see Jesus, who was about to pass that way. When Jesus came to that spot, he looked up and said, "Zacchaeus, come down at once. I'm going to stay in your home today." So Zacchaeus came down at once, happy to welcome Jesus. Everyone who saw this grumbled, saying, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." Zacchaeus stopped and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anyone out of anything, I repay them 4 times as much." Zacchaeus, the Lord said to him, Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this household, because he too is a son of Abraham. The human one came to seek and to save the lost." As Jesus said this, he told them another parable because he was near Jerusalem and they thought God's kingdom would appear right away. He said, a certain man who was born into royalty went to receive his kingdom and then return. He called 10 servants and gave each of them money worth 4 months' wages. He said, "Do business with this until I return." His citizens hated him, so they sent a representative after him who said, "We don't want this man to be our king." After receiving his kingdom, he returned and called the servants to whom he had given the money to find out how much they had earned. The first servant came forward and said, "Your money has earned a return of 1,000%. The king replied, "Excellent, you are a good servant. Because you have been faithful in a small matter, I will give you authority over 10 cities." The second servant came and said, "Master, your money has made a return of 500%. To this one, the king said, "You will have authority over 5 cities. Another servant came and said, "Master, here is your money. I wrapped it up in a scarf for safekeeping. I was afraid of you, because you are a stern man. You withdraw what you haven't deposited, and you harvest what you haven't planted." The king replied, "I will judge you by the words of your own mouth, you worthless servant. You know, did you, that I'm a stern man, withdrawing what I didn't deposit and harvesting what I didn't plant? Why then didn't you put my money in the bank? Then when I arrived, at least I could have gotten it back with interest." He said to his attendants, "Take his money and give it to the one who has 10 times as much." "But master," they said, "he already has 10 times as much." He replied, I say to you that everyone who has will be given more, but from those who have nothing, even what they seem to have will be taken away from them." After he said this, Jesus continued on ahead, going up to Jerusalem. As he came to Bethphage and Bethany on the Mount of Olives, he gave 2 disciples a task. He said, "Go into the village. When you go into a village," boy, this is so much like chapter whatever. When he went, he gave 2 disciples a task. He said, "When you enter the city, you will find there a colt tied up who has never been ridden. Untie it and bring it here. If someone asks you, 'Why are you untying it?' just say, 'Its master needs it.'" Those who had been sent found it exactly as he had said. As they were untying the colt, its owner said to them, "Why are you untying the colt?" They replied, "Its master needs it." They brought it to Jesus, threw their clothes on the colt, and lifted Jesus onto it. As Jesus rode along, they spread their clothes on the road. As Jesus approached the road leading down from the Mount of Olives, the whole throng of his disciples began rejoicing. They praised God with a loud voice because of all the mighty things they had seen. They said, "Blessings on the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest heavens." Some of the Pharisees from the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, scold your disciples. Tell them to be quiet." He answered, "I tell you, if they were silent, the stones would shout." As Jesus came to the city and observed it, he wept over it. He said, if only you knew on this of all days the things that lead to peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes. The time will come when your enemies will build fortifications around you, encircle you, and attack you from all sides. They will crush you completely, you and the people within you. They won't leave one stone on top of another within you because you didn't recognize the time of your gracious visit from God. When Jesus entered the city, he threw out those who were selling things there. He said to them, "It's written, my house will be a house of prayer, but you have made it a hideout for crooks." Jesus was teaching daily in the temple. The chief priests, the legal experts, and the foremost leaders among the people were seeking to kill him. However, they couldn't find a way to do it because all the people were enthralled with what they heard.